Hello everyone and welcome to this demonstration of ANZA 2025.1. In today's session, we will present the key features and enhancements introduced in this latest release with a focus on two main areas: user experience and user productivity. These updates are designed to streamline everyday workflows, minimize manual effort, and deliver a more intuitive and efficient interaction with the software. More specifically, we will begin by exploring the new user experience improvements. These include the introduction of a dark theme, support for interactive customization of ribbon tabs, and the organization of settings into profiles. Following that, we will shift our attention to the user productivity enhancements. Among the most notable are the new transparency control options, enhanced right-click actions, improvements in selection and entity cards, the compress function for shell and solid properties, enhancements for include files, the new reference function, and the updated Python version. Let us now take a closer look at the new capabilities introduced in ANZA 2025.1. Let's begin with one of the most noticeable updates, the introduction of the dark theme. This long-requested feature aims to reduce eye strain during extended sessions and enhance the user experience. You can enable or disable the dark theme from Settings, GUI Settings, General, and adjust the theme from dark to light and reverse according to your preference. Moving on to the next key enhancement, the interactive customization of the ribbon tabs. This new feature allows to dynamically configure the ribbon interface. Without the need for scripting or advanced setup, tools and functions can be dynamically organized. So let's now proceed with customizing the Geometry tab. Right-click on the Ribbon tab interface and select Customize to open the Customize window. Navigate to the Sketch 3D ribbon. Then by just drag and dropping the middle curve function, it is added to the Ribbon tab. The same way, you can add the Remove Double function to the drop-down menus. Reposition functions the way it suits you. Tile them horizontally or vertically to create a ribbon tab according to your preferences. As of Settings, a new structure is created, replacing the old layouts and introducing the profiles. The profiles enable cleaner structure, easier sharing, and consistent behavior across environments. So, what has changed exactly? First of all, profile management has become much more streamlined in ANZA. To access the profiles, navigate to Settings. Manage Profiles. Within this window, you can view how each profile is now organized into 4 dedicated folders: Checks, Defaults, GUI, and Scripts. This structured layout significantly improves clarity and ease of use. You can also create your own profiles directly from this interface. Simply select Create Profile, specify the profile name, and choose the files you want to include. Please note that to fully define a profile, you must add at least one file for each content type: checks, defaults, GUI, and scripts. It is also possible to create a team profile to enable collaboration between different people. For example, all members of the team will work with the same profile defined according to their preferences. To create a team profile, create a user profile as demonstrated before. In our case, its name is defined as My Team. Next, proceed to export this profile and save it to a folder of your preference. The team profile can be defined directly by setting an appropriate environment variable. Create a new environment variable with the name beta-team_dir and set its value to the full path where you saved the team profile. Once you confirm, the environment variable will be active and ready for use. So proceed to open ANZA, and as you can see, the team profile is set up. Next, we have introduced new transparency controlling options, directly accessible from the bottom area, and more specifically, the Drawing Styles toolbar. Enable the transparency and adjust the transparency for different entities of the model, either FE Mesh, meshed faces, and unmeshed ones. This way, a more clear overview of the model can be obtained. Disable the transparency by clicking once again to the transparency function. Moving on, right-click actions are available for all functions depending on the selected entity. So let's see how you can access them. By right-clicking on the graphical area, a contextual menu appears displaying some quick access functions and the recently used ones. By selecting an entity, if you right-click on it, commonly used available functions appear for this specific entity. For example, if we select an element, these actions will appear. If we select a node, the actions that will appear, as you can see, are different. Also, do not forget the shrink and expand options, available for expanding or shrinking the selection of entities of the same type. Expand your selection either from the contextual menu or either from the shortcut Alt and E. Shrink the selection in a similar way. And talking about selection, some selection enhancements have been introduced to allow for easier selection of entities and enhanced hover preview. From the selection toolbar, the plane selection allows for the selection of entities, using a plane as a reference. Define the plane and adjust the distance from the plane you want the selection to expand across. Moreover, a hover preview is available for the poly area selection that allows the user to have a clear view of the selected entities. The poly line selection is also enhanced with a similar hover preview. In the same spirit, we have introduced some enhancements in the entity cards, so you can perform all focus actions, highlight, and reference through these specific cards. Also, it is worth mentioning that the red triangle appearing on respective fields is indicative of an undefined entity. So, just by right-clicking on the PID field, a contextual menu opens and you can, for example, hide this specific property. Also, the red triangle indicator in the MID fields is indicative of an undefined material. Moving on, the compress function would compress all entities that were not utilized. But now in a similar way to the material card, it is possible to compress shell or solid properties based on their name or their values. So if they have the same values or name, they can be compressed even if they are utilized. For example, these two properties have the same values and not the same name, but as you can see, they are utilized. So if we select compress, we can compare the properties based on their values. As a result, side panel R property is compressed and is replaced by side panel property in the whole assembly. Regarding the include files, there is now the possibility to output only the modified lines. Let's see a comprehensive example about that. By navigating to the includes list, we will isolate only one include and perform some changes. This include is named floor. For example, let's remesh this specific include with a finer mesh. We specify the mesh parameters, and meshing is completed. After meshing, by right-clicking on the specific include, selecting Actions, Find Changes, with Reference File, it is possible to spot the changes of this include compared to the reference file. And a new output option exists that allows for the output only of the modified lines. To access this option, right-click on the Changed Includes entity, select Output, Single File. Next, select Append Replace Changes in order to output only the modified lines of the include. As of the new reference function, it is worth mentioning that it is now enhanced. In order to list for the selected entity both the references and the entities that it is referenced by. In order to access the reference function, right-click on a specific entity in the database browser. For example, let's right-click on a specific shell element. Select the reference function from the contextual menu and inspect the entities this shell element is used by, some information about the selected entity, and the entities this shell element uses. Last but not least, the embedded Python environment has been upgraded from version 3.11 to 3.13.3, giving users access to the latest language features, performance enhancements, and broader library compatibility. In addition, NumPy has been updated to version 2.2.3, ensuring improved numerical capabilities and better integration with scientific workflows. Most importantly, the Python API documentation has been significantly enhanced, offering clearer guidance for users. With all these tools and enhancements now available, from the introduction of the Dark theme to the latest Python updates, we've seen how the user experience and user productivity part of ANSA 2025.1 continues to evolve. And this concludes our demo session. We hope it gave you a clear overview of what's new and how these features can support and accelerate your everyday workflows. Thank you for watching.